Hello dear gamers, welcome to my YouTube channel where I can be the expert on how to shut on Forspoken. Well, that was a joke and maybe not a funny one, but I tried to tell the facts, And in the first episode of Facts with Polycraze, I want to address one of the most important recent events in the world of video games. Why the Forspoken could not get the attention of the media and gamers as it should. Before we get into this, don't forget to subscribe guys, I'm trying to make a living out of this, so thanks in advance, I guess. Forspoken was definitely one of the most anticipated games in 2023. Why not? All the trailers of the game promised us a great game, from the amazing visual effects to the innovative gameplay elements and of course the dynamic world that we never have seen before. Of course some inspiration from other worlds has caused other video games fans feeling to be aroused. And in the absence of other big games, we can expect a big and entertaining game at the beginning of the new year. But could this game meet the expectation, and could a Square Enix pull this off? No, they couldn't. They messed up big times. And those of you who are looking for the answer to this question, well, there you go. No, they didn't do it. They didn't do it very well. They sucked. They sucked bad. Now you have your answer, but there are several reasons why this game could not be successful. Those who have been following the game news for several years know very well that Square Enix games are kinda like a watermelon. It means that when you open this watermelon, either it is very red and juicy and sweet, or it is white, dry and poisonous. We have seen this issue before in the Marvel's Avengers game, which not only could not get the right scores, but also the players who bought the game after the release of the game sought refunds so that they could get their money back and go buy another game, which was only fair, But the same publisher released Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy the following year, which considered to be one of the candidates for the best game of the year and was one of the extraordinary experiences of 2021. Perhaps the defeat of the Avengers game could have been guessed from the game shows and trailers, but such a guess could not be made about the Forspoken. The game teasers and demos one after another were so beautiful and glamorous that we were sure we were going to experience one of the diamonds of the 9th generation. Of course, this charm was not only in the visual effects of the game, the idea behind the story and narrative was so attractive that it multiplied the value of experience for this game. But what is the main reason of this shit train running down on Forspoken? The first one is so obvious. The hype and enthusiasm of the gamers was so much for this game that everyone was waiting for a perfect game without any problems. But when they came across critical problems, they feel a little ashamed of all the excitement they had before the game release. Unfortunately, this hype did not last long for Forspoken. And even before this game was officially available for those who pre-ordered it, the release of game scores was like the sound of a shovel on the grave for this game. The moment we get out of the hype and fantasy world of Forspoken being the perfect game and enter the real world and spend just a few hours experiencing the game, we realize that the game is far from what we had in mind. Now it's time for the plot twist. These are the things that the media say about the game, and they are right in so many ways, but is Forspoken actually a bad game? Let me answer the question with a simple sentence. Forspoken has at least one flaw in all parts of the game. That is, no matter how attractive the game mechanics are to you, but eventually you will find a flaw that bugs you a little bit. But do not think that the game does not have any positive features. The first positive feature of the game is the story and narrative, which engage you from the beginning to the end. The relationship between the two main characters of the game is so attractive that it provides a good experience and competes directly with games of the same storytelling style. One thing you should keep in mind is that the creators of the game obviously intend to make this game in the most ambitious way possible. Everything about this game is so ambitious that a lot of time has been put into it, and it is possible that it will become a successful formula in the future. But one of the flaws of the game which caused the card to turn against it is definitely the speed and rhythm of it. At the beginning of the game, the rhythm is very good and logical, but as we go further, we feel that the lack of proper content in the game becomes more tangible and developers are forced to slow down the rhythm. Of course, the slow rhythm in many video games is even considered a positive point, But in Forspoken, it is not something that gamers are looking for. In the combat section, and of course, the magical elements that exist in the game, the creators of Forspoken offer a whole attractive and innovative idea, but they are not very successful in execution. The combat of the game does not have the feeling of a good role-playing game, and everything is very normal and sometimes poorly implemented. Even though the visual effects of the game in the final version have huge differences with the game shows and demos, still the game world is gorgeous and is actually one of the positive points about this game. But unfortunately, this world building is not enough to keep you entertained. Game customization system is one of the weakest systems you'd expect from an RPG game. Well, RPG game should not have that bug, but Forspoken for some reason do. And this game is released by one of the most decorated RPG makers of the century. Even some indie games with a budget 100 times less than Forspoken do better in this regard. These flaws were created by the Luminous Productions, and it's hard to believe that the same studio made the wonderful game Final Fantasy XV almost 6 years ago, which was a banger in all these fields for an 8th generation video game. But in other cases, the lack of proper execution of the mechanisms makes it difficult to enjoy the game until the end. It means that you feel that you have no reason to experience the game at all. In addition to the bad implementation of the game elements, the bugs you encounter during the game act as the last nail in the coffin. You may say with the release of various updates and hotfixes, these problems will be solved. But when the fundamental mechanisms of the game becomes the main problem, you can do ass about it. One of the other reasons that make us enjoy the game a little more is the side missions. In the world of this game, you can do a lot of things, which I say with the strongest voice is one of the important features of a role-playing game. The world of role-playing games should make you so busy that every step you take in the world, whether it is an open world or a semi-open world, a new event will be in front of you that will make the process more interesting for you. And Forspoken may be in some substages, especially at the end of the campaign, do the matter at hand. I mean, the main quests, especially in the end, are in trouble, but in the side quests, it does in the most elaborate way possible, and the game world has a very dynamic feel to it. One of the problems I always had with the Square Enix games is that their games are completely experimental. You may say, what the fuck are you talking about? Well, I will explain it. It means that in the most Square Enix games, it seems that the creators are not looking for a superior idea and consider that idea as the main core of the gameplay and design the rest of the ideas revolve around the main idea and make it more complete and evolve. Square Enix always try to fit 10 big ideas into the game, and this eventually becomes a problem. They want to make a delicious taco that everyone will be satisfied with, and they think so much about adding seasoning and toppings to the taco that they leave the food uncooked. Eating the uncooked food doesn't feel very good, but in your heart you can understand that the cook really tried to put a delicious dish in front of you. But he didn't even cook the food because of the overthinking that everyone around the table wouldn't want the food. Get it? At the end of this video, two main questions are raised. The first question is Forspoken worth buying? This question has no certain answer. It is completely based on your taste. If you like an interesting story and attractive atmosphere, then Forspoken can keep you entertained for hours. But if you're looking for a gameplay with interesting action elements and engaging role-playing, this game is not yet so mature, and maybe in the future with release of various expansion packs and DLCs, may there be some hope for it. The second question is, will Square Enix return to its prime? Yeah, why not? With this game, Square Enix showed that it has a lot of creative and attractive ideas, and only with the proper execution they can release attractive games every now and then. In the past, Square Enix has done this several times with games such as the remake of Final Fantasy VII, Tomb Raider, and of course Final Fantasy XV. Forspoken seems like the beginning of a new way and franchise for the Square Enix that can bring this company to a favorable situation. And of course, let's not forget that this is not the first time that the Square Enix made a mistake. These are the ones who lost the Hitman franchise. Fucking dumbasses. Thank you for being with me in this video. Don't forget to write me your thoughts in the comment section and like and subscribe so I can buy some equipment and make better videos and make us happy. Alright, bye.